Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here. Phone never stops. Phones never stop. So, guys and dolls, who's in? Give us a sound check and all the rest of it. So, 3 in. Denise, you're first in. Brian James, good to see you. Sounds good. Happy days, mate. Happy days. Cheers, guys. Thanks, Johnny. Hope you're all good. Just wait for the numbers to build up. As you do, as they say on YouTube. Oh, guys. Oh, guys, if you could be in my head for 10 minutes. Seriously, like. This is not for the faint-hearted, let me tell you that. Speaking to one of my mates today, like, and he was like, Sparky, he says, I would have a heart attack. He says, my mental health would just go downhill. I'm like, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, guys. But I don't want to push that rhetoric out now, you know what I mean? I don't want to put people off doing stuff like this. Wee bit bunkers, good to see you. Good to see you. I know it's a wee early one. I've got things to do tonight, guys. And then, yeah, more things to come at the weekend. Yeah, busy wee few days, like 4 or 5 days, to be honest with you. And then we got the 11th and 12th. All right, Wade, good to see you, buddy. So I'll give you a wee shout in a bit, mate. See what you're up to later. You got to find a wee way of switching off. Yeah, find a way to switch off. Yeah, that's that. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm eating well and sleeping well. You know what I mean? I'm not. It's annoying. It's irritating. It's stopping me go as quick as I would want to go. It's making me have to be weary of my security, which is absolute crazy. You know, absolute craziness. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just it's annoying. It's very, very annoying. But like I say, you know, got to be careful what I say as well. But you cannot imagine the different directions that it comes from, you know, and trying to pin down, you know what I mean? Because you focus on one person or one area or one group, and you know, then something else happens, and you're like, you know, and then it's a minefield, you know what I mean? You can go down a lot of rabbit holes with it, so you can, but there is a consensus effort to stop me. There's no two ways about it, you know. Like I say, everybody around me is telling me, like, you know, why are you doing this? You know, why are you putting yourself through this? You know what I mean? Because it's difficult when people know you. People have been around you all your life, and then all of a sudden all this mad stuff comes out because I'm doing online stuff, you know. So it is hard for people to understand, but you know, it's not something you can stop. The more people try and cause me problems, the more I'm going to go. And if they want to take Freedom Dad out for some sort of nonsense, that's up to them. I don't know if it's age or what it is, you know what I mean? But like I say, I've never had that fear or sense that not go forward. And I do believe that, you know, God protects me. I've always said that, you know, as a Christian. All right, John Giles, you know, I do believe I've got protection, you know, so hell mend anybody that wants to try anything. You've got God to deal with. But like I say, guys, there's an awful lot of pretenders. There's a lot of people involved in things for the wrong reasons. And that's clear to me. Like the more I'm here and the more I get to know people and I speak to people and hear all the different things that are coming from all different directions, me as Freedom Dad starting to understand things a lot clearer. You know, all I can do is keep being me. All right, Brian James, you saying hello to John Giles? But yeah, I've got good guys around me to support me, and yeah, that's all I can say. You know what I mean? I'm aware of everything, and all I can do is present myself to anybody that wants to speak to me, and make myself available at a moment's notice. You know, for this kind of thing, there's no messing about. I'm not shying away from nobody. I'm not hiding away from nobody. I'm here, there, and everywhere. I'm doing lives. You know what I mean? And I'm reachable. I've got 4 platforms on the go. You know what I mean? So it's no like people can't message me. Like I say, I've got Facebook FD, or the freedom.fd on Facebook. So I'm available. Obviously, I'm not just going to meet anybody, you know what I mean? Fuck's sake, but there's certain people I will give the time of day. 99% of them, I won't give them the time of day because they don't deserve my time. Simple as that. But, I know who deserves my time. Like I say, it's a different time in Northern Ireland since I was here. Different. It's a lot different, you know what I mean? Without saying too much, but, um, yeah, things have changed. So they have, guys. And I think the older ones and all the ones that have been through the troubles and been there from day one know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'll leave that right there. But it is what it is, you know. I understand that people just don't like people being liked. That's what I think, you know what I mean? How's it going, mate? Hope you're good. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Just having the wee moon. Just having the wee moon. I was either go to sleep for an hour or go on a live because I haven't done a video. Done a video yesterday. Never done a live last night. Because like I say, it isn't easy. It isn't easy, guys. You've got people that are jealous. You've got people that are making money, and there's all sorts of things going on where people would rather Freedom Dad wasn't here. They would rather Freedom Dad wasn't doing lives. They would rather Freedom Dad wasn't getting the limelight. They would rather Freedom Dad didn't go everywhere and people say, "Well done, Freedom Dad. Keep up the good work." They would rather that wasn't happening. They would rather have me silenced, and I don't know what if they're thinking about anybody to replace me. I don't know, But all I'm going to say is there's many people been doing many things, and Freedom Dads came along and just done Freedom Dads things. If people think they can do a better job than me, then why weren't they doing it before I came? This is what's a wee bit nuts about it all, But like I say, whenever there's money at play, things can change. Things can change. And it is sneaky, horrible, shitty stuff that's going on, guys. It's nothing, it's just all mad hearsay. She said, he said. And I can't control that. I can only control me and the people around me. And, everybody around me, knows who I am. They know, how loyal I am to what I'm doing, to my country and to myself, to my own pride and principles. Like I say, in every jail I've been in, nobody can say a bad word about me, and that's as simple as that. And, like I say, this is the first time in my life ever that I've had flack from anything, you know what I mean? And yes, the special branch thing, we've sort of moved on from that now and sort of other stuff. It's still popping up here and there, but, I'm sick of addressing it. Everybody that needs to be told knows the score, and everybody's passed on words and all that to let them know that, what it is. But, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, it's just part and parcel of being online. I think anybody that comes online, you can't have any skeletons in the closet. That's for sure. You really can't. You can't be a prick in life and then start doing this. Because if this is what I'm getting, forget about it. If you've got anything there, anybody's got on you, don't even go down this road. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you've got children and you love your country and you can see things happening that you could maybe change or help your country move in the right direction, then you'll probably do it. Yeah, ignore the haters, mate. Don't let the buggers. Lee Patriot, thanks for coming on, mate. Yeah, it's not as simple as that, mate. This is Northern Ireland, you know what I mean? We're only an island of over 1 million people, you know what I mean? 1.5 million. You cut that in half, you got like 500,000, just over 500,000, like Protestants, you know what I mean? And then you cut that in half again, But so it's not as simple as just, you can't ignore stuff in this country, you know what I mean? And people know that. People know the predicament I'm in. They know what they're doing. They know by spreading malicious lies and rumours about me, they know they're going to put me in trouble, especially if they got the ear of certain people. This is a big thing, you know what I mean? You don't have to be anybody special in this country, you know what I mean, to have the ear of somebody, you know, and it can just go downhill for anybody that they don't like, you know. And the difference with me is I'm going nowhere, you know. I'm going nowhere. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, probably go even harder and harder and harder, and get more people involved and stuff like that. But yeah, I think most guys from Northern Ireland know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just me. There's other people as well, and you know, I get told not to speak to him, not to speak to this one, stay away from that, stay away from this. You know, it's all like to create division, to create confusion. You know, I just keep telling everybody I'm Freedom Dad. Nobody tells me who to talk to and who not to talk to. Um, you know, I deal with everybody in front of me. You know, if there's stuff out there that really need to be aware of, I will look into it. Obviously, if there's anything that could be detrimental against Freedom Dad and my community, then obviously I'm going to protect Freedom Dad and our community. You know, but you know, that's Freedom Dad and the community is. I'm Freedom Dad right now. When this goes off, I'm back to being Sparky. You know what I mean? And obviously, I deal with things differently. But as far as my platform's concerned and people that I meet and other YouTubers and TikToks, this is Freedom Dad. You know what I mean? It's a strange thing for you to understand, but it's the only way I can try and explain it to you. Um, it's it's I think it's the same with all patriot movements in all the I think in England, I've heard loads of stories from guys of this has happened over and over again. Um, I am surprised. I am taken aback by how quickly and how easily people will jump on to certain things without even speaking to me. You know, when they know I'm approachable. Good evening, Window Man. Good to see you. Long time no see. Looking fresh and healthy. Good afternoon. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah. Um, Good to see you, mate. Been a wee while. I was getting worried about you. I know you've been on, so I know everything's all right. And I know a lot of things going on right now as well. You know, what the flack from the south as well is out there. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's not a problem for me, you know what I mean? But it's a problem for Michelle and stuff like that. But you know, we're not changing who we are. We're the same people. You know, nothing's changing. We're just communicating, and you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is what we have to do. You know, and I mean that genuinely. We have to do this. You know, we can't just sit here blanking our neighbours and totally ignoring what's going on, and you know, having a wee look from outside, that's no good to nobody right now. We need to understand the politics going on all around us. And, you know, like I say, when I go down there, I get so much love. What can I say? You know what I mean? Ex-lawless prisoner. And as far as they're concerned, UVF man and all that, because of the papers, you know, that's the rhetoric that they're getting hit with. And I go down there, and these are Catholics from the south, are welcoming me. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? Don't you know? That's where we are at right now. This is the world we live in. You know, and I'm unfortunate that Freedom Dad's bringing this to your attention. You know, but like I keep on saying, don't shoot the messenger. I'm trying to let people know what's going on, how serious things are when Ulster men and Irish men are communicating and showing a bit of love to each other and not talking about politics or borders or anything else. We're talking about the future of our children and the future of both our countries. That's something that's remarkable, and I don't think there is the haters are. I'll get, of course, you know what I mean. Um, I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean. I don't know what else to say about that, guys. You know what I mean. It is what it is. Everybody can see what I'm doing. You know, there's no hidden agenda. We're live. You know what I mean. I'm not going down there saying, oh, I want an All Ireland. I'm going down there and telling them they've got no chance. You know what I mean. Michelle has seen where we are. She's seen how we live. She's seen the fire in our hearts. There's no two ways about it, you know what I mean? And I think it's important because it's very easy for two neighbours not to know each other the way we have and not understand what our culture is about and not even realise, like, these are Roman Catholics, you know, and, you know, I'm able to tell them, listen, the Pope was behind King Billy. You know, if this is about 1690 and all the Pope was behind King Billy. The Pope celebrated, you know, as you all know, when King Billy won the Battle of Boyne because of all the carry on with King James and Louis V. You know, so, it's like things are changing rapidly. You know, they're looking, you know, even the British thing, you know what I mean? They're getting enough satisfaction to seeing what's happening in Britain right now, guys, in England and what's going on. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, they're not caring about none of that. They're not caring about anything to do with us, you know, because we're no problem to them, you know. Um, you know, you don't see the love that I'm getting. My guys, no, I'm telling my guys, you know, of course I am. I'm telling anybody to listen, the amount of love I'm getting from West Belfast and the Bogside. If you know these are staunch areas for Catholics and the Republicans, and I'm getting message after message after message of how frustrated they are in these areas, of how the dissidents are controlling everything and forcing the Palestine rhetoric down their necks, and that they can't come out of anywhere without seeing Palestine flags. You know what I mean? And these are Christians who, you know, just don't want to be involved in none of this, which is being pushed onto them. And, you know, like I say, it's night and day between the two communities, and they can see that. And yeah, it is nice to see. And you know, the amount that are telling me if there's a vote, we're voting DUP. You know, what I mean, maybe that's been going on for a while. I imagine there is quite a lot of Catholics in Belfast that vote for DUP and all that, right? But at the end of the day, um, I don't know this. This is new to me. You know, I've never been communicated with these guys or had guys like this giving me love. It's blown me away. And obviously, I've got to be cautious, but that's what's happening. I again, I can't. It's not me. It's making it happening. It's already happening. I'm just an outlet for them. For them to say, listen, we're not happy. We are people here that are under pressure, and yeah, it is very very sad. And then we've got all the problems going on in our own areas. You know what I mean? And hopefully bring you. I'll hopefully bring you something tonight. I'll definitely be bringing you something tonight. I don't know whether they go live or not. You know, because I don't know. I'll need to speak to the guy. It's an eyewitness of something that's happened to somebody, and he's wanting to speak about it. You know what I mean? I've spoke to him, like I've known about it for a wee while, but like I say, I don't run about asking people ask them to interview me. People come to me and ask me, will I do that? And I have to say no quite a lot of the time because of what it is. Because you know, I've got to be very careful. But you know, I am there to give out what's going on in our area so other people understand, you know, how serious this is. And you know, it's I just know this because of what I've experienced in England and Scotland, and how the government worked, you know. And then I come home because I know my government's connected to the establishment and the English government, and you know, I'm here to find out what my government are doing to stop this, because they know what's happening. They can see it, what's happening in Ireland. They can see what's happening in England. So what good Ulsterman would not put his foot down to stop this? And it's not being stopped as quickly as I would like. You know, they are putting in stuff in ports and stuff like that, but nobody else is doing it. No other citizens are coming out, you know, and doing it, apart from the local women and men in certain areas, you know, like um, the Shore Road, Woodville, Chimney Corner, East Belfast, Bangor, you know, and the Bangor ones outside the hotel, but these other ones, there's a new tactic. So the new tactic is they're all standing outside people's houses, like houses that there's a problem, you know, where they conceive a problem coming from these houses where these men are in. So they stand outside these houses every night until they're moved. You know, I don't condone or condemn any of that. You know, I don't know the legalities of it. I'm a citizen journalist, and I always like to observe. And whenever I'm asked, I go and observe, and you know, bring it to platforms, bring it to my YouTube channel for people who want to know what's going on around Belfast. Um, any like I don't need to do all the news because I rely that you guys watch No Risk, No Reward. You know, he's on point right now with everything you need to know that's going on in Northern Ireland and Ireland. I mean on point. I'm actually going to do a video and bring to you like just like a week of what he's brought to his platform and put it into one of my videos to show you, just to show you what's going on, you know. Like I say, I've got my own style, I've got my own thing going on. I'm not trying to copy anybody, you know. If there's something there I can report on, or it needs to be reported on, or it needs a wee bit more attention, I will do that, you know. But we have guys out there, you know, bringing brilliant content, and I would rather use what's no risk, no reward, put it in search him, you'll find it straight away. A really amazing guy, genuine guy. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about him, you know. And but you need to get on there if you really want to catch up. I'll bring the lives and we can talk about stuff. We can talk about what you see on there, if you want. You know what I mean? I'll maybe try and get him on or get on his, and I'd love to get a wee chat with him and throw some stuff about and ask him some questions. Like I say, I'm always open to have people on my live. Anybody that disagrees with me or anybody that just wants to come on, say hello and talk about a topic, I'm here for that as well. I'll live debate anybody at all. And I've said that from day one, from right day one, and you all know that. I don't know what else to do to be open and transparent, and you know, to try and give people a chance to reply to what I'm saying, my rhetoric, and you know, my stance against mass immigration and illegal and irregular immigration. Yeah, there it's there, guys. Wee Bit Bunkers has put it up. So if you click that link right now, go and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll never miss a post. I mean that. He's better than mainstream media. Please believe me. You know what I mean? He breaks it all down. He picks out the way they phrase it and all that, and he highlights it, and it makes you open your eyes to what's actually going on, how the media and the police are behaving. You know, using the words like teen boy. You know, a teen boy. You know, yeah, he's under 18, so they say, so he says. Nobody really has a clue because he probably came in with no documents. But yeah, it's like, it reminds me of Southport whenever they brought the photograph of him being as a child, you know, said he was a Welsh boy and all that. And the way they pushed this rhetoric of this innocent looking boy after these horrific crimes in Southport, they were pushing that. So we have the same sort of thing here. I'm not going to say what case it is because I don't want to cause any problems. But yeah, our media came out, teen boy. You know, it's just mental. It's mental, like, you know what I mean? Some of the most horrific things going on in our country right now, and they're talking like they're choir boys. You know, they're just wee kids. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're no buying that, and people like no risk, no reward brings that these guys. So yeah, and you all know all the other boys. You know, I'm going to concentrate on people who are concentrating on Northern Ireland from now on. And I apologise to anybody else, but you all know I've given you everybody that you need to watch. Anybody that I watch, like Dino B and Paz, all Godfrey, Lee, British Patriot, British Lauderer. So you all know who to be watching that covers all the stuff in England, Scotland, and over here. And I do give them stuff and pass on information if they want to use it. You know what I mean? Through X and stuff like that. So yeah, but I want to concentrate on YouTubers and TikTokers that are working for my country, you know, and for Northern Ireland, and focusing on Northern Ireland and Northern Ireland only, you know. I think that's the way we should be. I think wherever you're from, you should be focusing on your own country, because we haven't got the time and effort to help everybody else out. You know, there's enough YouTubers and TikToks doing enough for England right now and Scotland. You know, there's plenty out there. See, I presume that name wasn't welcome. Oh, I presume that name wasn't welcome. I don't know what you said, cheeky sprite, but you know, if you don't, I'm sure home, and home is where the heart is. You're right. Now's the time, Ulster, till I die. Wee Roger, I think you're about to go. So you are. I think you might be on the coke, mate. But yeah, like I say, we get it from everywhere. We get it from everywhere, every direction. You know, we get fake accounts constantly every day, at least 10 coming in to all my platforms. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I've had reporters pretending to be people, you know, to try and get me to engage. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but because I know, because I've been doing this so long, there's tricks that we can spot. There's things that we can spot. The people that help me with my social medias. So it's easy enough for us because we've been doing it that long, and that's what I say. It's experience. It's experience. And like I say, all the skullduggery stuff and all this and all there's a lot of, I don't want to, there's a few people there don't want to engage and don't want to work with Freedom Dad and all that, and you know, under the guise of, I can't trust them, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, you know, I always believe the first people to throw stones in glass houses, you know what I'm saying? And I don't care what anybody says, you know what I mean? I've never said that about anybody, and I have my suspicions, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there's no damage anybody can do me, whether they're working for the police or they are the police. there's no damage they can do. So I'm quite relaxed. There's nothing I don't say on here that I don't say out there. I don't change my rhetoric. You know what I mean? I don't change my stance. Um, I have people around me that trust with my life, and I'm just me. I'm just me. This is why the people that know me, that stand by me, because they know this is me. You know what I mean? Like I say, there is Freedom Dad and there is Sparky when it comes to dealing with things. You know what I mean? Because obviously this is my platform. I've got to protect it, and I've got to protect Freedom Dad as well. Um, it is a bit of a responsibility. But I think most of the YouTubers, I know there's a few YouTubers on here, and I think you all are aware, like some of my friends in YouTube are at 150,000 subscribers. Other ones are at 50, 60,000 subscribers. I'm just at 11,000. You know what I mean? So the more you have, the more flack you're going to get. You know what I mean? And that's the life. That's the thing. And I do think if some people that are causing me problems right now realised how many problems I'm getting from the far left and from dissidents and just from haters, that just haven't got a clue about anything, then they would probably back off me a wee bit and go, you know what, he's not done anything that bad or wrong, or he's prepared to engage with anybody and talk to anybody and explain himself. So that must stand for something, you know what I mean? So like I say, I'm just going to keep going forward with that, guys. Barry Wells says it's safe for me and my partner to come up to one of the bonfires on the 12th. We'd love to be there and stand with you. I'm just going to get somebody else to phone them. I'm going to say his name here. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. So, Eddie Cool, good to see you, buddy. So yeah, on top of all that, like I say, the world of TikTok and the world of YouTube has got so many arms and legs, and there's so many people competing with each other. There's so many people don't like each other, and like I say, it is a minefield. I do, because of prison and all the different prisons in different countries. I've learnt. I don't get pushed in any direction. I never let anybody change who I am or change the way I am just by words. You know what I mean? I need to see proof and I need to see action. So, like I say, there is a lot of people that I do engage with because they are YouTubers and they are doing something positive, but not everybody likes them, and that's another problem that we see in England, you know what I mean? And I've learned from that, because I've learned that a lot of things that are mistaken in this world, and I see what's happening to me and I see the things that are being said about me. So why would I judge somebody else on somebody else's words? But like I say, when I am going to be looking into some things because I am getting information, but I will always speak to people. I will always go directly to that person and say, this is what I've heard, what's your side of the story? And that's the way I always am, and that's why I expect people to come at me, you know what I mean? um it's like, I'm not going to say any names. Cheers, Eddie. Yeah, I haven't been. I haven't been on X for a couple of days, like, so I've missed a couple of messages. But you all know how to get me. Most of my moderators should have me on WhatsApp. If you haven't, send me a message and get my WhatsApp number. But yeah, but everything's good. Just busy, just busy. It does put you down. It does put you down, and sometimes it takes you a wee hour to get your head right whenever you're thrown aside or you're thrown down a wee bit. I'm only human. I'm only human. Um, but like I say, it's just the love I get overwhelms the hate, and I've just got to go to my phone and read my messages, or I've just got to go out somewhere and do a live, and people come up and speak to me and tell me thanks for doing what you're doing. And it's the genuine, heartfelt, when people actually look in your eyes and goes, don't stop what you're doing, please. You know what I mean? And I get that all the time. I get that all the time. Don't stop. You know what I mean? Bandsmen, orange men, members of the public, everywhere I go. You know what I mean? So that's what drives me. You know, that's what drives me. And I think this is one. I don't like talking about it too much because I don't want to put anybody else off. You know what I mean? I really need other YouTubers up and coming, Northern Irish boys and girls that can speak. You know, we need people speaking at at the demos. Cheers, Belfast fella. Don't listen to the haters. We really need people to speak at the demos. There's demos coming up. We've got. I think there's. Let me check. See if anybody's on, because I don't like putting anybody out there. But if anybody's on that's involved with the demo, could you get somebody to message me with the times and information so I can start putting it out? I'll try and find out now for you. So, and then there's oh, that's been far too quiet in the media. All right, mate. I'm just on a live and on YouTube. When's the next demo that you know of? Is it
It's tomorrow at CS Lewis Square at 12 o'clock.
tomorrow?
People should be gathering from 11 onwards.
Don't know if he's here. That so
half 11 onwards.
half 11 onwards at CS Lewis Square.
CS Lewis Square.
And that's in
Newton Arch Road from the big McDonald's.
Across the road from the big McDonald's or Conswater. So and that's half 11, 12 guys. And you know, I'm saying that we need more people speaking and stuff like that. And yeah, so
if somebody has something to say, come along, get in touch with me, contact me. I have no issues with people that want to speak. Yeah, everyone's welcome.
Yep, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. And if you've got something to say, if you want to speak, if you want to talk about an experience or what you think's going on or what you want changed, come and speak. Say to the guys who are there, you'll know who they are, and you can get up and speak, you know.
Yeah, some of us will be wearing yellow high-vis vests, bro.
Okay, so guys with high-vis vests that you see, you know, it won't take you long to know who's who, you know what I mean?
They'll also be holding clipboards with pages for signing, signatures.
And that's the petition for the king. So there's a petition for the king going about as well. And I will cover all that. So, well, I've just been really busy, mate, as you know.
Yep.
But, and then when's the next one after that?
The next one after that then is the 19th of July. We are going to Stormont for the second phase of the Great British National Wide protest. You know, we're taking this to Scotland, England, Wales. I would like if our brothers and sisters down south could join on board too and maybe start their New Republic movement going forward.
Yep, so that's
this is for all of us to unite together.
Yep. Yeah. So that's at Stormont and on what date and time?
The one in Stormont is starting 12 p.m. again, and it's the 19th of July.
Okay, guys, 19th of July, 12 o'clock, Stormont, you know what I mean? So I will be putting them out there because I will be reporting on these things and being there as a citizen journalist. So I will be telling you my community where I'll be turning up. If you want to speak to me or you want to say anything on my lives or whatever, you know what I mean? You are more than welcome. If you want to talk to me off live, off camera, off mic, no problem. All right, mate, thanks. I'm not going to say your name out there because I'm live, but
thank you very much.
No problem, buddy.
See you in the morning.
Right, okay, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye, mate. Bye-bye. So yeah, there is things happening. Guys are working really hard. The petition's a really good one, you know what I mean? Petitioning the king, because the king should have stepped in a long time ago, guys. You know what I mean? What's happening to Great Britain is shameful, absolutely shameful. It's criminal. These guys who have done this to England and Wales and Scotland and now to us, and should be in prison. There should be charges. So we are petitioning the king. The petition is going all around Northern Ireland. We are going to get hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Well, these guys are. I'm just reporting on it. I'm a patriot. When I say we, it's because I'm a patriot. You know, I love what they're doing. I'm here reporting on what they're doing. I'm here promoting on what they're doing. You know, I'm a patriot. That's the one thing that I am, and the only thing I am. I'm Freedom Dad, the patriot, and citizen journalist. And like I say, guys, things are moving really, really quick. People are coming out. People are seeing what's going on. And the petition to the king, you cannot this is the thing about the petition of the king. If you're petitioning the king and you're out there protesting, there's nothing anybody can do. They're not allowed to get and get involved. It's illegal. If you're petitioning the king, it's in our constitution. It's a right that we have, and it's a right that we're going to stand by and make sure it's protected. And we're going to go forward slowly with each one. And that's the push that some of these guys are pushing, because this is all we've got. This is where we're left. Where the government have let us down. The media has let us down. Where does a citizen turn to? Where does a guy or a woman in the working class areas turn to when at times like this? You know, there's nobody there to help us. You know what I mean? The troubles is over. You know, I don't know where people are standing right now. It's all a wee bit confusing to me. You know, I keep on thinking, do these guys not have children? Do they not have grandchildren? Can they not see what's going on? Do they just think I'm talking rubbish? But God knows what's going on. Really don't know. Too dangerous and too deep to even go into. But the thing is that normal people in Belfast, Northern Ireland and Londonderry and every other part of the province have had enough. The patriots on the ground, mothers, fathers, grannies and granddads have had enough. And they're looking, they don't know where to turn. Where do you turn? Imagine you're sitting in your house in any area of Northern Ireland and you're faced with what you're being faced with. You've got your politicians wringing their hands saying our hands are tied. You've got the media calling everybody far right and racist that even disagrees with the slightest thing about immigration. Even when there's children being harmed, you're far right and racist. Southport, 3 children, unalived. Everybody's far right and racist, you know? So how does that make people feel sitting in their houses, looking at the TV and seeing the far right racist rhetoric being pumped out by people like Nolan and all the media, all medias, all newspapers, all journalists completely sold their soul and totally blinded to everything that's going on and focused on one thing, and that's shutting us down, shutting us up. And now I've got people in my own community doing exactly what the media are trying to do to me, you know? And it's horrible. It's fucking horrible, guys, you know what I mean? But the fact is I'm not going to stop. We're not going to stop. Nobody's going to stop. There's going to be more and more people coming up and getting involved, and it's going to overwhelm anybody that tries to stop us. You know what I mean? And we are going to find a way to stop mass immigration, come to Northern Ireland, and we are going to protect our children, and we are going to put laws down somehow, some way, to make sure it never happens in the future. So when we go forward and we are no longer here, we're going to have something in place that protects our children and our grandchildren and make them, give them the power. Give them the power. Sorry, I'm going to have to put this in charge, guys. 2 seconds. Fuck did I do that? Right, I'll roll with it. I'll roll with it for now. Give them the power to always protect themselves, to never let anybody else just fire anybody else into the country without asking them. Never let anybody else spray stuff in the sky without asking them, you know, and the rest, you know. Protect our Christianity, protect our schools, protect our nativity plays, protect our churches, and protect our chapels, you know, across the board, all Christians, you know what I mean? That's what we're about. That's it. No reward, no gain. Don't want to be politician. Don't want to be famous. I want to step down and let younger ones take over. The people who are going to be running our country in the future. That's who we want stepping up right now. There's no point, guys that are like, I've got only 20 or 30 or 40 years left, or 30 years left. That's no good to us. We need younger ones that are going to be there and fighting the whole way through. Good, genuine patriots who love the country. You know, I'm going to protect all our cultures and traditions, you know, because as we see, all the cultures and traditions have left Birmingham. They've left Luton. They've left London, you know. They're hanging on. They're just hanging on right now. But if we ever get to the stage that they're in, the game's a bogey. And the problem is they don't want to admit it. Nobody wants to admit it. None of the English boys want to admit how much trouble they're in for some reason. I think it's just they want to push something, anything, and it's, you know, I do believe, this is me personally, Freedom Dad's opinions, guys, you know what I mean? And the opinions of quite a lot of people around me. I'm sick of hearing people saying England's gone, you know, because that's the general consensus. And when I say England's gone, I'm saying when you've got reform taking over and pretending to be right wing and convincing right wingers that they're right wing party when they're not, and then it comes to any election, you're going to get people that aren't awake voting for reform, and then you're going to get all the far left and all the foreigners voting for reform. There's not a right wing party can stand up to that. When you've got a party taking away a percentage of the right wing vote, and then you've got all these foreigners all will all be baying for the downfall of any right wing organisation, then it's always going to be reform from here on in. And then we've got Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib starting up two different things. Now I do get it. I do get it, but I sort of agree with Paul a wee bit. There was things in place. We've got the pledge. You got the Unite the Kingdom. There was things already in place where they had people. You know what I mean? All I can hope for is that they all come together somehow. That's the only solution, and I think that is the plan going forward with these guys. They do plan to eventually. That's the only way they can survive is that every single right wing political party or political group, Homeland, UKIP, ADF, SDP, all come together under one umbrella as a unite the kingdom, sort of unite the mainland even, you know what I mean? Obviously, if they need help from us, we will be there 110%. If there's anything we can do to save England, Scotland and Wales, we will do it. We will drop tools and concentrate on that for a bit. We will help them. But at the minute, we don't know what to do. I don't know who to go. I don't know who to promote. I don't know. I can't see any way unless they get a party in that deports 1 million. As Nigel Farage says, you can't deport 1 million. It's 1 million votes, guys. It's 1 million votes going against us, And we've got to remember Labour won. Labour got into power with 20% of the vote. So everything's quite serious, and people don't realise how serious it is. And, Liam Tuff's interviewed beggars who... I missed that, so I did, guys, sorry. Yeah, text needed these docs. Yeah, everywhere, like there needs to be security, there needs to be people being deported, there needs to be things set up. We see all these things getting built, all these big sort of camps with like loads and loads of things. I don't understand what the plan is there, you know what I mean? They're just going to bring the foreigners in there and just put them into these modules. How long are they going to stay in modules for? Do they move out of the modules and then go into a nice house in the city of Dublin? And then a new one comes into the module? Is it going to work like the hotels? There's a lot of things we don't understand. We've got Ireland just about to bring in hate laws, which is quite concerning for everybody. Doesn't concern us because it's the Republic of Ireland, but it can concern me if I'm in the Republic of Ireland. So there's a lot of things I've got to watch out for. And this is being brought out by the EU, and the EU have threatened Ireland if they don't bring them out, they're going to end up getting fined. Because that's how the EU worked. Back in the day, whenever the United Kingdom was more involved with them, I can remember it was part of the Human Convention or human rights that you weren't allowed to use razor wire in prisons. And because the prisons used razor wire, they were fined every year or every month and had to fork out money because they were using razor wire. So I imagine it's the same thing whenever they ask, you need to bring out hate laws, then they're like, I'm hoping they say no, you know what I mean? Because they've already got the hate speech and all that where you can be, if you tell people go out on the street and rant, and there's a big rat, you can get done for it, obviously, you know what I mean? But you've got the freedom of expression. You've got the right to criticise the government. They're down in legislation that can never be taken away. You've got to understand that. And this is what they're trying to do. The Irish have got their own constitution. They're protected by these things. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stop us having an opinion. They're trying to stop us criticising Islam, and they're trying to stop us criticising the government. Could you imagine your door going in because you said Keir Starmer is a wanker? Could you imagine that? That's where we're going. That's where the Irish are going. This is what they want. If we cannot criticise or tell anybody what's going wrong, then we're in trouble. We're in big, big trouble. And it's not because we're not taking Islam with us or because we need to take Islam with us. It's because of the people who's controlling all our governments, whether they've been compromised and being blackmailed in some way, or they're just paying the money and they just like money. And as we go forward, like I say, we will see who's took the money. Yeah, it will be clear with Freedom of Information Acts how much people's portfolios have went up and money's went up. You know, same with the landlords. We're starting to see who's making all the money from what landlords are making the most money. And I imagine one day they will be held accountable. And they don't realise that what's happened to this country is, and what's happened to Great Britain and Ireland is so bad that anybody involved in it, they're going to be they're in history. People are going to always look and say there's going to be YouTubes, there's going to be TikToks, there's going to be documentaries. Whenever we get the right media in, whenever our time is coming, when we've got our country back, we will have the right media. We will have the media that will report the truth and the facts, and not what somebody tells them to say or what somebody tells them not to say. That's the most important thing. We will have a media one day that won't be scared to say what they need to say and won't be compromised or blackmailed or paid off by anybody else, as we see with Nolan and all the rest of them. And that's clear for everybody to see. That's not freedom, Dad. I'm talking to yous of what I bring to yous, what I hear in my communities. You know, my opinions, I've got to protect myself, entertainment and educational purposes only. But I'm not going to come on here and just spout my personal thoughts and beliefs and try and get yous to go down a certain road. I speak for the people who speak to me. Everybody that I talk to, that all say the same thing. You know, this is bad and something needs to change quick. And why isn't our politicians helping us? You know, and you know that's probably the bottom line as well. The amount of stick I'm giving the politicians. You know what I mean? And it's not really stick. It's just being a journalist and saying, you know, come on, guys. You know what I mean? You're voted by the people. You're representing the people. You're getting a healthy wage. You know what I mean? Surely you should be stepping up. You shouldn't be waiting for freedom, Dad, to do all these videos and then start wringing your hands in Parliament and saying, yeah, this isn't right. Because they never set out Dicky Bird until the Patriots all started popping up, you know, until they started getting microphones put in front of them, you know what I mean? And that's the truth of it. And that's just that's the way life is. If we weren't there, you know, pushing them and asking them and prodding them and saying, "What? Come on, you know, you got to be held accountable here. You got to explain to us why you're letting this happen." Then I don't think anything would have happened. I think they would have sat there for as quiet for as long as they could, you know. And obviously they've got a lot of money, so they've got a lot of influence, you know, in my country, and that's a problem for me. Like, it's a big problem for me. Freedom, Dad, you make sense, and as long as we stay peaceful, we'll eventually make a difference. Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's the only way we can lose this is by rioting. The only way the government will beat us is by us letting them beat us, and the only way they can do that is if we come out onto the street and riot, burn houses, and put people out, and set fire to things, and destroy our own areas. You know, what we're doing right now is building movements. We're building communities. We're building people who are coming together and talking. And between them, they can sort it out. Our communities have always been able to deal with their own issues. And it's down to each community. And then eventually each community will communicate with each community. And you'll have like a group at the top, you know what I mean? And hopefully, politicians comes out of that. You know, I would like to think that the best and the brightest come forward in each community, you know, and they step up, and these best and brightest come together as one, you know, and deal with the issues together. You know, that's the way forward. Peacefully, organised, and plenty of communication, and not being afraid. That's the most important thing. No longer being afraid to be called far right and racist. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, we know we're not racist. You know, it's not about race. It's like the situation's been created. We haven't created it. We're trying to deal with the situation that's been created, and you know, it's not our fault that it's to do with immigration. You know, and people that are coming into different countries happen to be a different colour. Now, I know it's very easy to throw the two together, but that's not what it's about. It's about immigration. It's about our country and our birth rate, and who's going to be here in 30 years' time. Is it going to be Ulster men, or is it going to be Ulster men and Ulster women, Catholics and Protestants, you know, Christians, or is it going to be Islam? That's the way it's going in England. That's what's happened in Birmingham and all the Midlands and London. You know, you've seen Patrick Christie's report. You know, I do believe that a lot of people have blinkers on with that as well, and they're just like la 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 la. I don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? And I don't know what to say to that. You know, you need to hear it. People need to hear it. People need to start saying, you know, we're in trouble. You know, we're this close to no getting this back at all. You know. And that's when that happens, when people realize that, you know, maybe England isn't going to be recoverable as what they think, then maybe that's when people in Northern Ireland will realise that, oh, fuck, we better do something. But by then, how many people are going to be in? How many people are going to be voting for Sinn Féin or any other left-wing party by the time we get our act together? Because that's what's happening. They're pushing people into their countries that they know will vote for them. You know, they'll fill up West Belfast. You know, I'll get to a stage when Catholics will be moving into Protestant areas just to get away from these headers. You know, and then, you know, at the end of the day, they will be voting for Sinn Féin, just like they're voting for Labour. You know, that's how they'll vote for reform, you know. Eventually they will vote for themselves. I can see that now happening, you know what I mean? So they are organising and they are becoming politically aware, you know. And yeah, like I say, 20% of the vote won it. 20% of the vote won it, you know. So you don't even need 20% of foreigners. You just need 15% of foreigners, and then you got another 5% of fucking far left headers and LGBTQs. Your Owen Joneses, your Nick Lowells, all their followers. Like some of them guys have got hundreds of thousands of followers. Hundreds of thousands of followers. And when they push out that everybody's to vote for a certain way, they will all go whatever way they want them to go. You know, so this is the problem. You've got English men and women that aren't English men and women anymore, and then you've got foreigners, and they're all coming together as one unit to get who they want in power. And that's why you see so many people in power in England that I believe shouldn't be in there, because they've got dual citizenship. Their heart lies with another country as well as this country. And that's not right. That's not right. That's not, governments have never been running like that, and that I know of in the whole history of the world. You know, people that are running governments are people who everybody trusts. You know, they're only invested in one country and one country only. That's the norm, you know. But, you know, like I say, it seems to have just slipped in there and everybody seems to have accepted it, until they start asking for, you know, cousin marriages and building airports in Pakistan and all the rest. You know, the halal, and, you know, how they're offended with different things. Yep, leave that with me, whoever that was. I've just seen a message come up here. He's hilarious, man. Yeah, Charlie Veets has put out a couple of good videos lately, you know what I mean? He's right in their faces, calling them right out. I'm talking about Islam, you know what I mean? Because they're in our faces, so they are, guys. You know, we've been silenced for too long. They have a security, they have a safety of being able to say whatever they want against us. You know, they can be racist, they can be, you know, they can be anti-Christian, they can say things about Jesus, you know, not a thing done. They could even burn our Bible and probably not get arrested. That's the freedom that they have compared to the freedom that our men and women have. So, yeah, you know, like I say to guys in Northern Ireland, go and visit these places, you know, if, you know, just go and spend a weekend or something, you know. Yeah, I've seen the GPO thing. I wasn't going to go live because it, but, you know, yeah, I don't really know that much about it. I have asked a couple of my guys in Ireland to let me know. Thank you very much, Ulsterman. Thank you, Window Man. Pixie 40, and it's an entire community problem. Yeah, 100%, like 100%. Just throw some comments up, guys, because I'm going to wrap it up. I'm only on it for an hour. I'm going to be moving in an hour, so I am. And I will be bringing content, you know, next couple of days. Freedom Dad, the Pakistani migrants in Britain, Mirpuri, who are more conservative, Islamic. Yeah, man, I know it's not too far. Yeah, but like I say, we're sort of getting accustomed to the far right. If you're far right for not wanting mass immigration, then we've got to take that. You know, if it's far right to want to just love your own people in your own country, then we've got to take that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we are kind-hearted people, but we're not going to get the piss taken out of us. You know, and it's not our fault. You know. Leave that with me. I've just seen a number. Yeah, I've changed phones, so the numbers. But I will do it. I will do it. Yeah, I'm off to make my dinner. Take care, everyone. Yep, I'm gonna get another wee coffee. All right, brother. See you tomorrow. Sent you a link to share Islamophobia consultation. Thank you, wee bit. When the Pakistanis came here in big numbers, whoa. Here in big numbers, then we'll see the SA number go up massively. Why is Belfast fella here whenever he is about as Islam for preying on kids? Okie dokie. I don't want any of that in here, guys. We can sort that out off this. Goat audits, you're right, but this is Christian land. Islam isn't isn't clearly not wanted. I'll wait to see if anyone gets arrested for burning or disrespecting a Bible. It'll be a long wait. Yeah, definitely. Refugees are such a burden on society when they don't respect and help. It's heartbreaking. Okie dokie. Wait till the illegals get citizenship and can allow relatives to come in. Rapid change them. Hi, Freedom Dad. God bless you. Thank you, Elaine McDonough. Nobody's need to realise London has fallen. I imagine burning the Quran. Hell, tell me about it. See, but we don't want to burn the Quran, you know what I mean? It's like this, there is extremists and radicals everywhere that feel that, and I think the burning of the Quran has been a statement where they're saying, look, this is what happens when you burn the Quran. This is what I think that was about, you know what I mean? And it has opened their eyes. You know, our courts just brought in blasphemy laws through the back door with that, you know? I've never heard of anybody getting done for burning a book, you know. I know Samuel Rusty near got murdered for writing a book, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a bit nuts. It's a bit nuts, you know. You can't criticize Muhammad. You can't do cartoons of Muhammad. You can't burn the Quran, you know. And if you do, you're more or less going to be under a death threat. There's no two ways about it. Yeah, you know, if I was to say anything controversial or start pushing really bad stuff about Muhammad, then I would be in trouble. And not just from the authorities. My life would be in serious danger, you know what I mean? So that's something we all need to think about. That's where we're going, where you will not be able to criticize them. No matter what badness comes from them, you're not going to be able to criticize them. And like I keep on saying, there is good Muslims. There is good Muslims, guys. You know, we all know that. But my problem is we can't tell the good ones from the bad ones. The bad ones pretend to be good, then they become bad. You know, so if you've got people coming into your house and, you know, a certain type, say, again, Donegal, fucking, I don't know, Isle of Man ones, right? Just keep everything right. The Isle of Man ones. And, you know, they're real trouble and they're in and out of your house and things are going missing. But you don't know who's doing it. Because they're all coming in with big smiles and like proper, genuine, super, really nice people. And, you know, what do? Do you keep letting stuff go wrong in your life? Do you keep letting your kids be abused? Do you keep letting things get stolen? Or do you shut the door on them all? You go, listen, I can't tell you apart, man. I don't know what's going on, but you are mental. You know, you shut the door and that's what you say. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but not today. Satan. that's a wee shout out to my mate, not today, Satan. You know what I mean? He's travelling around South America right now, but he's not too happy. He's not too happy. But yeah, good Muslims kept quiet on the grooming gangs and allowed it to happen. Yeah, well, this is what you got to remember as well, guys, is extremism. I've done this a couple of times, so just for anybody that's new, you know, the problem with the Muslims, the good Muslims, is when they're in these areas and there's a small amount of extremism, then it's very, very difficult for them. You know what I mean? Guys, support Freedom Dad with a coffee if it helps him and allow him a bit of ease and allows him to continue his good work. Yeah, always appreciate it. Buy me a coffee, and I do want to make this clear. You buy me a coffee, you know what I mean? That's it. You do. We do not. People do not have enough money to be throwing money about the place, and I'm okay. You know, I'm okay. I'm eating well. I'll get plenty of help. Got a new phone. I had a new mic. The mic wasn't great anyway. The mics definitely weren't great, as you know. But the dog got a hold of it. So that's what's left of it. Probably could stick it back together again, like, but it's a wee bit chewed. But got a mic coming tomorrow. I'm going to go back to the cable mic until I get it. I've got mics coming from England soon. One of my mates is bringing them over. They're good mics, you know what I mean? So they're like the what do you call it? The same as them, Bluetooth mics. But obviously you need to spend a bit of money to get the mics. You know, I do try to scrape by and get cheap stuff, like the camera I bought, totally ripped off of the camera. Says Wi-Fi and all on it. There's no Wi-Fi on it. It's Chinese. It probably is a good camera. I haven't took the memory stick out to have a look at the footage yet, but it when you move it jerks. It jerks. I should have done a wee bit of research, you know what I mean? It only cost me 70 quid, but you know, it may come in handy if I can set it still somewhere, has an extra camera, maybe on the 12th or something, see what the footage is like. I'll stick the memory card in a laptop and have a look at it. But like I say, I'm going to get a laptop as well, so I can start doing StreamYard and getting a few of us on. You know what I mean? Maybe any of the Patriots that are here, that are involved. Any Patriots, I've got no problem with any Patriots, even though some of them have distanced themselves from me and don't speak to me anymore and all that carry on. But that's up to them. Like I say, my door's always open, my platform's always open for anybody that's doing something good for my country. You know what I mean? Like I say, there's only one or two that can't seem to get their head around some things, but like I say, there's nothing I can do. Oh, as I always say to people, that's in your head. That's your problem, not mine. And that's all I can say about that. But yeah, like I say, I am going to be opening up the platform to. I'll be having a panel eventually. Hopefully, going to speak to somebody. I'll keep because I'm so busy. I've got a friend who's got a studio, who's says it's there for me. So I might even dabble in a wee bit of music. You know what I mean? A wee bit of music, So like patriotic, something patriotic, you know what I mean, for the boys and get it out for them. Because I'm quite good at editing that, like so I am. And but the main thing is getting a good studio, even if I have to pay and rent it, whatever, and just getting people on or getting people online, like a just 3 people or 4 people, whatever, you know what I mean? And yeah, we talk about things that are relevant to us. What's going on in Ireland, England. Hopefully, get some English YouTubers on and stuff like that, and they can tell me what they think about England and if they think if it's reversible or not. You know what I mean? So that's the plan. Keep doing stuff that's going to benefit the country. Keep awakening people. Keep putting the head up over the parapet, no matter what gets thrown at me, and not letting anybody push me off course or stop me trying to protect my country from my daughter. You see my wee girl, she's absolutely beautiful, and that's all I need to do sometimes is just have a wee look at my wee girl, and then everything goes away, and the shoulders get bigger and, the heart beats a wee bit faster and a wee bit of grit comes in between my teeth. And that's all I need to keep me going, no matter what. And I know there's plenty to come. I know they're going to do everything to shut me down. I am a pain in the arse to the government right now, a real big pain in the arse. I see the looks I get from some of the politicians and stuff like that, so they all know me. And yeah, got a couple of people I need to reach out to still that I want to speak to and try and get some interviews from, you know what I mean? But because I'm dealing with all this, it's sort of like putting a wee cloud over me a wee bit, so people are a wee bit weary. But like I say, once people talk to me for 10 minutes, everything's made pretty much clear in any direction I'm going. And yeah, that's what I rely on. I rely on this to get me through, and this, and my heart, So that's it, guys. I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to be here for a lot longer. Fingers crossed, touch wood, God willing, the angels are still there protecting me. But yeah, Freedom Dad isn't going anywhere. Freedom Dad is just beginning. Freedom Dad's just landed and just starting. And yeah, do what you need to do, At the end of the day, you're doing it against your country, because I am part of your country. I am part of the solution. We all are, And anybody that goes against that is not wanting the solution. They want it to keep going. They want mass immigration for whatever reason. And I'm talking about people that should never, ever want this to happen to their country. Some people have maybe fought for this country for many years, are sitting back right now, not taking any interest of anything that's happening. And I can't get my head around that, because I feel as if, okay, you may be happy and comfortable right now, but you're not going to be here for long. And do you really not care? Do you really not care what you're leaving behind? And I think our children and our grandchildren will look back at us all very scrupulously and ask, what did you do? What did you do for my country? Why are we living like this? That's what our kids and grandkids could be saying. Why did you let us down? You could have stopped this when you had the chance, and you never. Why? So that's on everybody's shoulders. That's on every individual who has the basic powers to step up in Northern Ireland. People who are somebody that can make a difference in their communities. And yeah, I can't force anybody. All I can do is try and guilt you into it. Try and shame you into doing something. But like I say, I'm laughing, but it is very, very serious. It is very, very serious. But yeah, thank you all so much for your love, guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the messages, emails, WhatsApps, Messenger, X, Facebook. Thank you all so much. And yeah, I will be coming back tonight at some time, either with a video or a live. I haven't decided yet. I need to assess the situation, and I'll go forward with it once my feet are on the ground. But my feet will be on the ground. I will be doing what I need to do to bring to you anybody that's interested that wants to listen to what Freedom Dad's got to say about what's going on in this country. I will do that. And like I say, no risk, no reward. Bringing out some amazing content. Please get on there. Check his last few videos out. Just get an idea what he's about. You know what I mean? And yeah, round of applause to No Risk, No Reward, an outstanding patriot and an outstanding content creator and an outstanding YouTube channel who I hope and pray becomes massive and becomes one of our mainstream media one day. Because it's a man I would get behind and trust 110%. And I'm telling you guys now, there's no many out there that I can say that about, but he is one of them. So listen, guys, thank you all for popping in. I will have to love and leave yous. I've got loads of messages to reply to, a couple of phone calls to reply to since I've been on here. I've had to put that in silent. I'm going to hear it buzzing away beside me. So yeah, it's non-stop, but I'm all good. Sleeping, eating, and everything is good. Getting plenty of love, that's for sure. So behave yourselves, and God bless.